Namaste. Welcome to this yoga short of the three-part breath, or the full yogic breath, or the grand yoga breath, as it is also known. We've been working with this breath in class this week, but if you want just a short practice of this breath to practice, which hopefully you do, then this is the video for you. So we're going to begin in a seated position. I'm sitting on a chair just because I've just taught chair yoga, but you could equally be kneeling or sitting on a floor. And this breath can also be done lying down, so feel free to practice it in bed just before you go to sleep as well. And we want to be warm, so I've got a shawl around my shoulders and a blanket around my legs. If you're sitting on the floor, you might want the same. We're going to start by finding that upright position. So whatever position you're in, just allowing your body to come forwards and backwards a little bit. Feel the back of the body switch on to hold you as you come forwards, and the front of the body switch on to hold you as you move backwards. We want to find that space between those two where the body is passive but upright. And when you find that space, just feel your weight dropping into the parts of your body that are on the floor. Rest your hands wherever is comfortable. Lots of experienced yogis are used to working with Ujjayi, but in this practice, please don't use Ujjayi. We're going to begin by closing the eyes and simply observing the natural, spontaneous breath. No control here. Remembering that there is no wrong way to breathe. You're breathing just right for you in this moment. Notice the coolness of air coming in through the nostrils and the warmth of the breath as it leaves the body. Notice the parts of your body that move as you breathe, the gentle rise and fall. Notice the rate and rhythm of your breath, if it feels smooth, steady, rhythmic, and also notice if it doesn't. There's no judgment here. It doesn't matter how your breath is, you are simply observing. When you're ready, you can gently open your eyes if you've had them closed. Perhaps you haven't, that's okay too. So we're going to take our natural breath and we're going to develop 3 different breaths through the body and then join them all up into the full yogic grand yoga breath. So the first breath is sometimes called abdominal breathing or diaphragmatic breathing. It is breathing in the space between the navel and the bottom of the rib cage. And that's why we want to have a long upright position or long lying down position. So we've got this space open and available to us. Rest your hands between the navel and the bottom of the rib cage. Relax your shoulders. If you wish to, you can close your eyes or gaze gently downwards and just see if you can focus on the weight and the warmth, excuse me, the sensation of your hands on your body. And breathe into that area. Perhaps you notice that your breath deepens a little. It's a little longer, a little slower. And sometimes if you can't feel this breath, that's a good thing to do. Slow the breath down. Check that you're still sitting in that really upright position. Passive between the front and the back of the body. And there's no forcing here, so you don't make your tummy muscles stick out and in to move your abdomen. It's just a gentle movement under the hands as you breathe into this lowest lobe of the lungs. At the end of your next exhalation, just taking a moment, relaxing the hands, keeping the eyes closed if they are closed. Let your breath find its natural rhythm, and then when you're ready, take a deep breath in and sigh out through your mouth. Then you can gently open your eyes, maybe wriggle your shoulders a little. And please don't worry if you can't feel your breath yet. It takes some practice. But persevere, keep having a go, and you'll suddenly find it all slots into place. You'll have your eureka moment. We're now going to move the hands to the center of the chest. So this really is the center of the chest. We don't want them too high because we're going to breathe there afterwards. We don't want them too low, right across the middle of the chest. Resting the hands here, organizing yourself into that neutral upright position. Now we're going to engage the belly muscles so that we can prevent the breath from moving down. So we prevent the diaphragm from moving as much. So engage the belly muscles, not super strongly, just enough. Close your eyes and try to breathe into that space you feel underneath your hands, underneath the arms, in the back of the body, the whole of the rib cage. Keeping the belly engaged prevents the breath from moving down. And this is sometimes also called a bellows breath, or beginning of a bellows breath, because the ribs flare in and out with the breath. Now you might find if you're used to using Ujjayi that it automatically switches on here, because this breath is very close to the dynamic of Ujjayi. But if you can keep your Ujjayi switched off, that also takes practice. And I often think of this breath as being quite lateral. It feels to me as if the sides of the body are very involved. And when you're ready, you can gently relax your hands down, soften your breath into its natural rhythm. Observe the effect of breathing in this way, and open your eyes. Take a deep breath in, sigh out through the mouth. That just helps us to reset and roll the shoulders. I've taught 2 classes this morning and my throat's a bit croaky from doing all of this breathing and talking. We're going to now look at the top lobe of the lungs, the clavicular area. So we've done diaphragmatic or abdominal breathing. We've done thoracic breathing through the center of the chest. We're going to do clavicular breathing. And this is a breath found in the space between the center of the chest and the collarbones. So not above there, where we don't have any bits of lungs, but underneath the collarbones, right at the center of the chest, right at the top of the chest rather, with both hands. You can let your elbows be slightly wider here, because this part of the body comes around to that space just underneath the armpits. And so by keeping the elbows wider, you access that space underneath the arms as well. Find your neutral upright, engage in your belly. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable to do so, and feel the weight and the warmth of your hands or the coolness of your hands. Move your breath into the space under your hands. This breath will be quite shallow and short. That's okay. See if you can get a feeling of the breath moving underneath the arms as well. Right at the top of the rib cage. We won't do this for long. So at the end of your next exhalation, relaxing the arms, let your breath find its natural rhythm. Open your eyes if they've been closed. Take a deep breath in and out through the mouth. Awesome. So this clavicular breathing, quite shallow, quite unnatural to do on its own consciously, and can make some people feel a little bit anxious. It's okay. Just try to remember it's for a short time and you can relax afterwards. So we've done each individual part, and you may or may not feel those parts so very well, but remember, more practice will help. We're now going to put all three together. So we want to breathe into the lowest lobe of the lungs, then draw the breath into the center, and then draw the breath into the top. And as you breathe out from the lowest part of the lungs, from the center of the chest, and then from the top. So it's always from bottom to top in this particular method. So we're going to first sit tall, finding that neutral spot. Place one hand on your belly, or between the navel and the bottom of the ribs, one hand on the center of the ribs, and that bottom hand is going to move up and down. So for this first few rounds, you might want to have your eyes open, but when you feel the need, you can close them. Take a deep breath in and out, so we're all together. And then move your breath with a nice relaxed belly, breathing into the bottom, into the middle, move your bottom hand to the top, breathe into the top, and move your bottom hand down, breathe out from the bottom, out from the middle, move your hand and breathe out from the top. Move your hand to breathe in at the bottom, in at the middle, move your hand to breathe in at the top, move your hand to breathe out at the bottom, out in the center of the chest, move your hand to breathe out at the top. Keep going in this way. One more like this. At the end of your exhalation, relax your arms down, let your breath fall into its natural rhythm. Deep breath in and sigh out through the mouth. Maybe it's easier to find your natural rhythm after that. So it's quite a feat of coordination to move your hands all of the time. I find personally that I prefer to keep my hands on my middle and upper chest, and the belly takes care of itself. The deep abdominal breathing takes care of itself. So let's try it that way, finding yourself in your neutral upright. Deep breath in and out together. And then breathing into your belly, nice and relaxed. Drawing the breath up into the middle of the chest, up into the top of the chest. Breathing out, engage across your navel. Breathe out from the center of the chest and the top of the chest. Relax your belly muscles. Breathe in at the bottom, in at the middle, in at the top. Engage your belly muscles. Breathe out at the bottom, out in the middle, out in the top. Relax the belly. Breathe in at the bottom, in at the middle, in at the top. Engage the belly. Breathe out at the bottom, out at the middle, out at the top. Find your own rhythm, continuing to practice in this way. See if you can make the breath flow smoothly. Use gentle engagement and disengagement of the belly muscles. Feel that lift, that rise and fall of the shoulders and the top of the chest. One more like this. Relax your arms down, let your breath find its natural rhythm for a moment. Observe the effect of your practice. Feel free to open your eyes. Take a deep breath in and sigh out through the mouth. Wonderful. So as you become more practiced with this breath, you can do it without having your hands on the body, but the contact between the hands and the body is a really lovely way to feel your breath moving when perhaps it's for some people quite hard to feel their breath moving in the body. So I hope you've enjoyed this practice. Please continue to practice. Moving the breath in this way is really good for our digestive system, but for the lymphatic system, for the lungs themselves, for our metabolism. And it can just help you to feel really vital, relaxed, clarity of thought, all of the good things. And I will see you again when we develop this breath next week into a 9-part breath from a 3-part. Namaste.